Hello, Jason Woodard here. Today I'm starting my testing and review to destruction of a new katana from Raijin Katanas. This is their first katana that they've actually released in 5160 spring steel. My job will be to test the edge, see how it performs, push it to its limits and past its limits to see exactly how much abuse this katana can take. I will start with cutting on plastic jugs, traditional mats, wood, metal, and eventually to concrete blocks and maybe granite. We'll see exactly how much abuse this new katana can take. My impression so far, it's very nice out of the box. Everything seems well put together. Everything seems nice and tight, snug. It's got great balance. Weighs about 2.4 pounds. So stay tuned as I test this, and I will have final thoughts at the end of the actual review and testing. Thank you. Hello, Jason Woodard here. Today I'm starting my cutting test and review of Raijin's new 5160 spring steel katana. This is a cutting test just to see how the factory edge actually performs. So, here we go. As you can see, the edge, very nice, very sharp, performs well, and it's got good balance. I will continue my testing. Hello, continuing my cutting test on this new Raijin 5160 spring steel cutting sword just to see how the edge performs. As you can see, it's pretty sharp. Another cutting test to see how it performs on 4 jugs of fluid. So, there we go. You can see, very sharp edge. Hello, Jason Woodard, continuing my cutting test on the new Raijin 5160 spring steel katana to see how it performs on a standard cutting mat. So here we go. As you can see, it cuts very well. I will continue my testing. Hello, continuing my test and destructive test on this sword to see how it performs by cutting into a trash can and stabbing to see how the chip performs. So here we go. Tip's holding up well. I will continue my testing. Hello, continuing my test on the Raijin katana and the 5160 spring steel, heating it against the metal pole to see how the edge actually holds up and how the sword handles the stress. So, here we go. As you can see, that kind of impact on a metal pole against the katana is not a good idea. Of course, any abuse on a sword like this will cause massive edge damage, especially to an edge that is this fine. The fittings are all still tight, so I will continue my destructive test to see exactly how much more the sword can take. Katana, that is. Okay, kids, this is one of my last tests, destructive tests on this Raijin 5160 spring steel katana to see exactly how much abuse it can take and if I can break it or not. Now, this is a piece of granite, so it shouldn't hold up to this. This is pretty tough stone. This can be dangerous, so please don't try this at home without safety gear. I wouldn't even try it. I'd test this so you don't have to. So here we go. Well, there you have it. After beating this continuously on a piece of granite, and it actually broke off several pieces, it did break, which any sword would do under those harsh, abusive conditions. It held up very well for a katana. I like the 5160 spring steel. It's pretty tough. Fittings are still pretty tight. It's coming a little bit loose right here, but overall, it's a very tough katana. And I will finish up my review and submit this to the swordbuyersguide.com. And thank you very much for your time. Hello, Jason Wood here with my final thoughts on Raijin's new 5160 spring steel line of katanas that they're coming out with. This sword was sent to me to actually test and review and push it to the limits to see exactly how much abuse it could take. I will say that it does come with a very fine blade with a very fine factory edge. It held up very well to cutting jugs and traditional mats. The fittings were very tight and it had great balance. However, when I moved up to hitting it against a solid steel pole, or metal pole that is, it did take actual edge damage here. Of course, any blade that's this fine or has this sharp of an edge would take that kind of damage. But I did strike the pole many times with a lot of force and it held up well and didn't break. However, when I moved up to striking the katana against actual granite countertop pieces, that's when it actually broke. I struck the katana many times with many hard blows before it actually broke. What that tells me is that this is very well heat treated. I do know swords. I forge swords myself, and I have tested hundreds of swords. And this one actually held up very well. The fittings did come loose at the very end. But overall, for the quality of the sword and the abuse that I gave it, it held up better than I thought it actually would. And in my mind, this is a great katana for the money. So if you're interested in getting one of Raijin's new 5160 spring steel katanas, they're going to be available at the swordbuyersguide.com. Thank you very much for your time.